So, you just booked your dream trip to Iceland for a trout fishing journey. What flies to bring with you is the big question. My name is Benny, I'm the owner of Highlandtroutfishing.com, and I'm here to help you figure out what dry flies and what nymphs to bring with you to your Icelandic journey. So, I got good news for you. The first fly, the Toppfly in Iceland, probably 9 out of 10 anglers will tell you is their first choice, is probably already in your box. You guessed it. It's Pheasant Tail. Bring your Pheasant Tails, you could probably get by with a box full of only Pheasant Tails. Bring them weighted, bring them with your tungsten beads, and bring them unweighted. You're probably working with sizes, I would say, on average 14, 16. You can take them all the way down to 18 and 20, and you could be working with size 12 as well, all depending on the conditions you're fishing in. Next fly is probably also already in your box. It's a world famous hare's ear. It goes the same with the hare's ear as it goes with the pheasant tail. You'll be working with the same sizes. You can also bring them weighted and unweighted. Both pheasant tail and hare's ear imitate so many hatches that are already happening in Icelandic nature, lakes and rivers. So you should be pretty golden with these two flies in your box. Next two flies I'm going to tell you about, they're probably quite as deadly or even deadlier than pheasant tail in Icelandic lakes and rivers, are designed by the same guy and are probably not in your box because they are an Icelandic design. First one is called Krókur, or the hook, and the hook does bring you back, that's for damn sure. Next one is called Beykir, and Beykir and hook are brothers and sisters. You're gonna get quite far with these two flies along with pheasant tail and hare's ear in your box. The fly I want to tell you about is an Icelandic design as well, and it's simply called the Peacock. The Peacock is my first choice, for example, going for char and fishing deep. The Peacock imitates, it can imitate both flies hatching, and as well it imitates water snails that are very common in Icelandic lakes. I use the Peacock more in lakes than rivers, but it works on both scenarios. The Peacock is different from both Beykir, Krókur, because you can fish them in larger sizes. The Peacock is common even up to 10, and I know guys who even fish them in 8s. Usually I fish my Peacocks weighted with a fluo orange bead, but obviously they work unweighted as well. If you want to get in touch with your inner Viking, this fly might be it. It's called Longbeard, or Langskeggur in Icelandic. This fly is always unweighted, and it's usually tied on hooks that are light, which makes it hover just under the surface. Brown trouts in Þingvallavatn in particular really like this fly, as do sea run char. Next we're looking at red colors. What's on fancy? We're not looking at the original Scottish version, which was a wet fly, but we're looking at these nymphs. What's on fancy inspired nymphs. They have always worked really well for me. There's something about that red color. And while we're sticking with red, look at this one, Bloodworm. The Bloodworm is imitating a midge, which is hatching underwater, and really works as well. Usually I'm fishing these two in sizes 14 to 12, obviously down to 16 is an option as well. Next fly you probably do have in your box, because it's a very fashionable fly. Your buzzers. Bring all your buzzers. The buzzer works everywhere you go, since they take the shape and form of various bugs that are all around us in nature. I should also mention your vinyl ribs. Bring your vinyl ribs. Something small, something black, brownish, in vinyl ribs, sizes 14, 16. You're always gonna get by with them as well. And I also feel like I need to mention this fly. Pink and blue it's called, bleik og blá. It's great for sea run fish, especially chars. Before we move on over to the dry flies, I want to show you two more flies. They are made by veterans in the field. The first one is one of my favorite flies for Lake Þingvellir, and it's basically the go-to option for most people who fish there or that are looking for those big chunky chars. The black killer carries its name with pride and with good reason too. It's one of the most popular flies you can go for when you're searching for char in Lake Þingvellir. Next one is called Alma Rún. It basically works wherever you're searching for chars in lakes. Probably you can toss that as well into your streams, but definitely use them when you're going lake fishing. So we're moving on to dry flies. You probably have stuff in your box that will work in Iceland, because I think dry flies, they basically work wherever you go. You bring in small sizes though. You're not bringing your grasshoppers and that crazy stuff that you have back home. You're bringing your Klinkhammers, your black gnats, your Adams. Flies in sizes from 14 and smaller. A lot of these rivers, they're going even down to 20 and smaller, but that depends on what kind of a dry fly pervert you are really. But we do have an Icelandic dry fly that is kinda in the category that I was talking about. It's quite big and chunky, and we call it magic leg, or the magic fly. In Icelandic that would be galdrafluga. This design really works especially in the Westfjords, because we have flies in the Westfjords that kinda look like these. Big chunky flies that crash on the water surface, and when that is happening, the trouts go nuts. I often also just use this fly. I know the author is gonna hate it when I say it. I use it as a strike indicator, and often that strike indicator is eaten before anything else is eaten. Alright guys, I think that concludes my overview of dry flies and nymphs to bring with you on your journey in Iceland. I hope this helps you to pick out something in your box. Remember, when you arrive, you need to go and get your stuff cleaned. We are very concerned about that. We want to keep our system clean. So have your stuff cleaned when you arrive to Iceland. Yeah, you should be pretty golden with this. Obviously you can use a lot of other stuff, probably stuff you have back at home. Just keep it simple, really. Stick to these basics, you should get by. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope it will help you on your journey. Do check out my website, Highlandflyfishing.com. If you wanna book a trip, give me a holler. And I wanna send shout out to a friend of mine who owns a website called fos.is. I got permission to steal a lot of his pictures to use in this introduction. You can go onto that website and just right click and translate to English. It's the ocean of information about fly fishing in Iceland, about lakes and flies and what to use, where to go. All his trips are documented. It's great fun to read. and I will put in the link below maybe a shop you can go to get your flies when you arrive to Iceland. I will link everything I've talked about really. Hope you have a good one. Give me a holler if I can help you with anything. Okay, bye bye.